Hi there, I'm John, aka Graffiti, and I'm a 3D environment artist in the games industry. This video series shows my approach to environment art creation with the ArtStation challenge brief Beyond Human. Each video is a live stream capture and doesn't contain any music. I suggest putting some on, increasing the speed of the videos and playing them in the background while doing some of your own work. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to see me create environment art live, please tune into my Twitch channel. You can also follow me on social media. Enjoy! Sorry Major, I know you have just messaged, but I missed it because I popped out the chat, but hopefully... Oh, the stream rate, the bit rate's doing okay. I'm good, thank you. How are you? Had a productive well, I did have a productive evening yesterday, just updating the neon signs. Not really that happy with this one, the one with the heart, but by the end I was just like, fuck it, let's just get it in and we'll deal with it later in cleanup. It's in the image, it's quite obvious what the what you can see, and my guess is we could probably put a light on it just to help pick it out, but right now it's in. It doesn't look great, so it'll need changing at some point or updating, but yeah, not too bad. For next person, a vehicle. Ooh, what kind of vehicle? Yeah, so I need to work up the floor this time. I've just been playing about with the camera. What I also did was I put in the background building, which you can't really see in this image. There's too much crap in the way. And just put in this image here, sorry, this building, so that it matches a bit better with the concept. Also, I dulled down some of the shaders, just so that they weren't so shiny. Which is all just done in Unreal, which was good. Yeah, so what's the point? It's still in planning. Hello, hi Angel, how you doing? To do a peculiar one. Ooh. Well, how vehicles are notoriously difficult, so how peculiar do you want to go? Unreal. So I've just been tweaking my camera from my last post. Could do it turning that one off. Is that it? Yeah. So I think this is. It's getting there. Let's have a look. It's getting there. There's more of an angle on Helio's building. Look at that, actually. So I need to do that. I think also it's a 16:9, so I need to utilize the 16:9 camera, but it's better in that there's less of this building showing, which I was having a problem with. Also, I haven't got down this alley. I do really need to do a ridiculous field of view to match up. Yeah, because the tunnel effect that Helio's got going on is not in here yet. So I need to tweak that as well. But, I mean, essentially everything stays the same. As in, I still need to sort out this whole area in terms of debris and all that jazz. So, yeah, okay, just finished mowing the lawn. Bloody hell. So we lose weight first. Oh, that garage door doesn't look too bad, seeing as though it's just got a tiny texture on it. In fact, neither does this stuff. Not bad at all. think when I do my refining pass, once these have got bevels on them, they'll look fine. That looks way better than I thought it was going to look. And I think the textures are... Oh, I don't know how big the textures are. I think they're 2K. Although looking at this, it looks like they're 1K. Yeah, and I also want to... Oh, Christ, I need to sort out this pipe situation. Missing some pipes. Write that down. Missing pipes. So basically this is my last bit of work before I'm away next week, so let's just try and catch all the modelling bits we can. Maybe tweak the lighting later as well. Yeah, you know, generally it's all in, apart from, you know, these obvious things, but it's working without, you know, major beveling, which is pretty good. Do you want me to give you mine? Hi Lazzy, haven't been following your streams lately. Awesome. Oh, thanks. But what I'm going to do is, after this project, I will post them all on YouTube in a series, and will hopefully give you like a bit of an overview, and you can actually see the progress of it a bit more, which will be pretty cool. What was I going to say? How in God's name do you use tiling textures in games and such? So, all you do is, so this concrete asphalt, it's just a tiling texture. All you do is, as long as your UVs are unwrapped correctly, so they're all to the right scale and that kind of thing. This is the tutorial, ladsies. What was I going to say? Yeah, so as long as your things are unwrapped correctly, so i.e. everything is square. So when I was doing all those unwrapping videos, streams, I was matching them all up to a grid, and once they were matched to that grid, they were perfectly unwrapped. But it meant that I could, as long as I scaled the UVs uniformly, it would keep the right size for them. So that means that I can create a tiling texture, so like these bricks for example, that tile both in the U and in the V. I can slap them on anything and it'll just work. So you could say here is actually where it doesn't look so great because the UVs are stretched really badly. And what they should look like is this. So stretched, not stretched. But my saving grace is that because it's only on this here, and we see it from here, you don't really notice. If it was these bricks though, you would definitely notice, and they would definitely look incorrect. So for me, I've been utilising tiling textures for the whole scene, including my props so far, just because I haven't had time to make stuff individually. And in fact, you can see on this car, this hasn't been UV'd yet. So all the tile, look, it's kind of, you've got stretching, you can see the tiling. It just all looks a bit naff. So yeah, so for me, for this project, using tiling textures has been a massive time saver. Even for these props, they haven't got unique they have got unique unwraps, but they've only got tiling textures on them, and that's because yes, they probably need to do some extra work on them, but because we're seeing them not in full light, I know in Helio's picture that'll have to change. Oh, even saying that, the access point isn't in too much light. I can get away with not having them. You know, uniquely unwrapped 0 to 1. So yeah, so that's why, and I suppose how you could utilise tiling textures. So when you're doing your car, your vehicle, you could unwrap it all and just slap tiling textures on it and just see what you get to start with. I know that's what Matt does, who is hosting this challenge, uses tiling textures as much as he can. I'm sure he does bake all the normals and stuff, but if you want just base metal, just do a tiling texture and just slap it on. And essentially that's what Substance Painter smart materials are. They're tiling textures slapped onto stuff with the correct UVs scaled. Yes, so Lazzies, I'm going to have to edit my clips into, you know, 2-hour chunks, and then I'll put them up as a playlist, and then if you can watch them in your own time. It won't have, so it'll have all the streams, but it won't have anything I did outside of the streams. But you can just put some music on, listen to the sound of my voice talking you through how I made this environment. So there might be some tutorial bits in there, and I'll try and edit it so that the time codes match up and you can skip to the bits that you want to see. But yeah, this is the general gist. How do you do it on a model? Do you just unwrap it, alright, and then scale it to the right? Yes, for example, on a big as fuck Matt, does he use decals? Just found out about that. Found this thing on decals, you know, I will post it, maybe it helps on in chat. Let's have a look. Oh yes, I know about this. It's is it called deferred? Yeah, basically it's little polygons, and it basically you just have a tiling sheet and you just put them just over the thing. There's someone, Harley Wilson, who is it this one? Armour Train. So if you go to this link, I think they talk about it. This one. So this one, this is the straight one, but you can see where these purple strips of polygons are. They're just a yeah, they're these little rivets, and then essentially going off this sheet. So it's a really good way of modelling in detail, but without modelling it in. What was I going to say? For example, yeah, as long as you're matched to the right textile density, or not even. I think textile density is the wrong thing, because I think that relates more to size of textures, so 1K, 2K, 512, that kind of thing. Whereas if everything is matched up to, in fact I can show you. So on these pipes, it's probably a bad example because they're curved. Let's get a building. We've got a building. Okay, so if we look at this, and then if we go to shading and grab it's a shame you can't do a, what do you call it, a order by selection by alphabet. Oh, don't tell me I've deleted it. Oh no, here it is. So, oh boom, it's in the right place. Okay, so this was the UV sheet I used, and so it's quite good because it's 0 to 1, and it's got colours. You're fine to use a checkerboard, but when you're doing interesting shapes like pipes, it becomes a lot harder to work out how big the checkerboard actually is, whereas this gives you a grid system and a these letters and numbers to work to, so you can scale it correctly. And then if we, why does it want to save this like this? There it is. So let me duplicate this. So originally these were the right scale, and if we just scale them up by, I think it's 65%. Oh shit, 165. Ooh. So you can see a bit smaller. So I mean, they could probably go a bit smaller again. Ooh. But so there you go. That's basically as close as I'm going to get to that shape, knowing that all of these are the right size. And then the reason I've scaled them down is so that they match the scale in Unreal, because when I first put these on, the textures just, you could tell that they were way too big. So I want to just undo all of that. Yeah, so I mean, with everything, as long as it's unwrapped correctly and everything's uniform, then you'll be fine. Stamping them in a Substance Painter, but then also not like it. Yes, it's like stamping it in Substance Painter, but instead of stamping it in Painter, you're creating a trim sheet, a sheet that has all of those stamps on it, and then you literally just get a polygon in your 3D program and just make sure that those UVs of that polygon match where you want it on that sheet. And then if you set up the material in Unreal 4 correctly, that will use the decals textures, but also be projected onto the main 3D mesh. So you'll have, in a way, it's easier to change where you put your polygon pieces, because you're just translating them or scaling them, rotating them, instead of going back to Painter, erasing it and stamping it somewhere else. So they're both getting to the same thing, same end point, it's just a different way of doing it, like everything in 3D. I'm sure there must be a plugin from there. As far as I understand, it's a game making software, so I've seen people using it for long. Yeah, I'm just wondering what those were. It's going to be rendering, maybe, I don't know. So that things in games are textured, like the blimp in the train, the environments. It's one way of texturing them, or not texturing them, of adding more detail to them. I would say they're probably more powerful because you only need one sheet versus a unique unwrap for each item. So you'll get more mileage out of a sheet and polygons rather than unwrapping each individual thing and stamping them. Yeah, and Ladsy's what Major says, it's just, architectural visualization, or perhaps you just want to, get a pretty pitch. Maybe you don't know that much about lighting in, say, Maya or 3ds Max, and it's a really good, like Major says, out the box lighting setup, so that's why probably people use it. What the hell am I doing? Right, now to do some work. This ground needs to look good. So there's a load of crap. I need to get these bin bags in. So the bin bags I need to make, I'm going to have to make them after this stream. I'll only do a proxy for now because I want to use Marvelous Designer to wrap the material around a shape. Just so, again, I don't have to spend hours sculpting a unique thing. I can literally just get the model looking good and slap a tiling texture on it. But I will... So those are the debris. That's the layout we made, the one layout. So I need to do heaps, I think. Ah yes, and that's the clump I want to do. So let's get a shape for this first. Cylinder, don't want 24 sides, but maybe 12. Apply. Tops off, subdivide this, oh, a nice little sack. Done. Actually, no, I just want to vary this up a little bit. Actually, maybe a bit worth. Just adding a bit more geometry in here. So it's nice and smooth around this shape. Cool, and then around this side. So going in and out. Yep. Minus in ZBrush. Yeah, you could probably do it in ZBrush, but right now, you know, I can use ZBrush, but I haven't used it for, I don't know, over a month, so I'm going to just not do it in ZBrush. What I am going to do is this bunch of crap I'm going to put into a Marvelous Designer and then wrap the fabric around it. That way I get all the ripples and stuff for basically no effort. And right now I need speed and or I need more time, because I worked out how long I've got left and it's not a great amount of time. And that's my own personal time versus what it says on the timer. Cool, so that's one bin bag. And we'll just do an interior for this. Oh, boom, yeah, I'll do that. Great, lovely. So that's one. Bin bag A. These are bits of crap, which actually I could use elsewhere. So that's one bit of crap, another bit of crap, another bit of crap. Yeah, I could just use them in the actual scene as well, that might be quite good. And then let's just duplicate this. Move it this way and then change all of this up. Because right now I just want variation in shape, I don't need it to be perfect. Maybe just move these down. Cool. Bin bag 2. We'll just ZX. And actually what I might do is center these just at 0, because then when I have them in the scene, they're a bit easier to work with. Actually, I won't move that one, I'll move this one. Cool. Ooh. B. Need to make it 2 months. Striker, what to be smooth. Bam, done. I suppose, I mean, if these work, what we could do actually is, how many are these? 130, that's not too bad. Let's just dupe these. Okay, so we have them. Close proxies. That's fine. And then if we Shift D and do a smooth, there we go, smoother, better. But before that, we will unwrap them. That's a good idea. So, Atlas. So I want this stuff. And then in here, this wants to be all unwrapped. Should really turn autosave off, don't need it. Okay. That's not what I wanted. I wanted, sorry, 1, 2. Oh. What if I just do a cylindrical on the Y? Boom! That's all we needed. Let's just get rid of them. Get rid of this base. Relax that. That's the inside, which can just go on there. Relax all that, pack all that. Boom, looks great. Next, sort this base out. Hi Sasha, how you doing? Best use I've ever seen. DOS him again, please. DOS. I've got my Macintosh in NASA. In NASA. In space. Right. Loop? No, of course I won't. We can't loop from here. Atlas. And then this thing, we can do a cylindrical on the Y. Let's tear them off. Tear them off. Relax that. Now relax it. Ooh, interesting. Select. Select. God, I do like UVing in Modo. It just makes everything so easy. Excellent. That's great. Actually, what I can do without doing that yet is just add some more geometry in like this. That's better. Yeah, much better. Yeah, that's fine. A bit janky in places, but not the end of the world. And let's smooth these, real, and export them. 2015, select. And if we come into here, import bags, import all. If you use the tiny texture method, can the UVs go outside of the... Yes, they can. Out of bounds. Yeah, it can go, so let's just, if I go back to this building that I was showing before, I'm going to the UVs, so the red is overlapping, the white is not overlapping, but it doesn't matter if you're using tiny textures because the texture will still tile, everything will still tile correctly because it's the right scale. If it was a prop, then and there's nothing stopping you from having more than one UV set. So you're on your first UV set, you might have the prop UVs laid out 0 to 1, but then on texture 2, on UV2, you could have them like they are here, like atlas projected, overlapping all over, and then you just specify which UV set you want to use in the material in the engine. Bin bag, look at that, look at it in all its glory. And we want to put this bad boy on it. Oh, you know what? Don't even need Marvelous Designer. That's the best bin bag I've seen. Ever. No. Although that will help us a lot if I don't have to actually model these more than what they actually are. That's ridiculous. I will save them. And we'll dump them in the scene. So let's just put them on unlit for the moment and get them in. Oh, they're a little on the small side. Look at the size of that! Yes, a little on the small side. Scale ref. Oh yes, they are massively on the scale, on the small size. Look at the size of that. You could hold it in one hand. Yeah, maybe a bit bigger. Actually, you could pick one up in your hands, but it's not going to be cumbersome. So that's still maybe a bit big, but better. Cool. Actually, what I might do while I'm here is just bring these up a bit. Cool. Just iron these out slightly. Cool. Export both of them. Re-import them. You should have a go at their art test without applying. It might be a good challenge. If you just type in Star Citizen art test, there's like 1 billion images on it, and I swear every every month there's at least a couple of ArtStation portfolio pieces on the art test. So you should give it a go. I mean, if you do it and get it done well, then you'll be away. I think I actually need, an actual debris pile for that. These cardboard boxes and shit as well. Ooh, wrong one. I need the dumpster. Without the lid. And I need a mesh. this out. And bevel the edges. Oh shit, don't crash. Come on, autosave. And as long as this ain't poking out. Slide on that side. Slide on that side. Boom. And then so that is a freaking huge dumpster, although I suppose you could fit 2 people in it. Maybe that's my other problem. They're slightly too big. Oh, compared to the car. Just going through that pipe, maybe a little on the big side. What do you guys think? Too big? Probably too big. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Did a breakdown. Yeah, that's how they do it. It's pretty good stuff. Aha, just posted a new update. You should check this guy out if you haven't already. The final things to model. Oh, cables, that's what I need to do. Although I might not get around to it today. We'll give Jack a light now, because he knows I'm keen, but I'll comment later. Shit. Those ones can reach up to your rib cage, 1.6 meters. Where is that? Pizza man on what? Yeah, he's in the what do you call it? The character art challenge. If you go onto the character art stuff, it should be one of the first ones you see, I would have thought. that's the layout, that's the block. So actually my block is a lot smaller. Let's scale this back. Perhaps something like that. So probably lost about 1/3 of the size. But yeah, we'll run with that. Yeah, it gets, action is right, it gets converted to tries before when it gets exported or imported into the game, exported. What, you don't have to have it as tries and quads, you can have it as n-gons, but the correct practice is to do the quads or the triangulation yourself. Therefore, when you come to texture it, all your triangles are in the right direction, if that makes any sense. So, for example, I mean, it's not necessarily these days because everything's, been upgraded, but for example, in this piece, so say we have a quad like this. So if we export this, then the export will either put a line from here to here, or it might put a line from here to here. So, and that will give you wildly different results when you're baking. So on stuff like this, it's important to put a triangle in so that it knows that this is the edge rather than this being the edge. No, it's default all tries. It doesn't affect the format. Yeah, well, as long as you don't have anything like that example, where it's wildly undefined which direction the edge should be in, it's fine. With n-gons, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Like this, for example, on this dumpster. This is an n-gon, it's got 12 vertices, but it's completely flat. Therefore, I know that I can get away with leaving it as an n-gon because it will remain flat once it's triangulated. If it was like this, I would triangulate it, or at least put quads in it. Because by the time you put the quads in, you've already established where all the edges are going to go. Shrink. The thing is, though, I might just leave the scale as they were, because in Helio's concept, they are quite tall next to the next to these things. Let's scale them. Then the lid won't fit. Damn it. Right, previous version. Yeah, if the angle is planar, yeah. Okay. So they've all got the right things, yeah. Export. What kind of school are you looking at going to? And how much will it cost? If you can go to Noman, then yeah. I think it's what do you want to get out of it, and then can you? I mean, are you able to? You know, earn a living and do it in your spare time, but then that eats up a lot of time in itself. I forgot to smooth it. Oh well. And I need debris. Oh, lovely. Crap filled. The lid needs to come back on. I can save that. There we go. Brill. Looks like it's got crap in it. Don't you have to be rushed to go to art schools? Milk a lot here. You can even get money when it's in full time. Not much, but so much that you can live. That's good. Yeah, have a scout out, you know, online courses first. Or at least plan out what you want to, what do you want to achieve. I think that's more important, because I wish I'd done that. Yeah, what do you want to get out of your learning is very important. I'm going to use this thing. Create some funky shapes. So there is a bin bag in here, and it's lying this way, like so. God damn it, the scale's way out compared to that bin bag, but then it could be the angle we're looking at it as well. Damn it, Helio. Okay, so we've got that. something like that. Perhaps. Get another one. Put that down here. And what other boxes do we got? Have we got a thin one? Here we go. Got rubbish in the bin. Now that bin bag is the same. So what if we make the top, the lid, this metal dirty or iron rusted? We'll try that. Yep. Too much. That's better. Yeah, way better. Right, let's moved on. Seems quite good, but best way to learn with that one is probably to watch that. Well, thank you, Sasha. But is this the best way to learn? Maybe eventually, because I want to do focus streams instead of just environments at some point. So this girl Twitcher called Shenazi, she was talking about not schools on the US. I remember the name of the college, but I checked it out once. Same quality. Ooh. Shenazi. Okay. Have a look at that. Does answer it quite well, but don't forget he has the right tools and experience to show it, which some of the school's real ones don't have. Nice. There are cheaper schools that cost like % of that. And also there's a lot of information on things like, well, services like Twitch, these kind of streams, or also on YouTube. It really comes down to, like, if you can afford it, then, and you can find a good one, then I do recommend doing that. But what's more important, I think, is it something you want to... I'm really not happy with the scale of these bins. Maybe I should put the rubbish. No, let's not do that. Yeah, what are you looking to get out of it? That's the main one, I would say. Even that might be slightly better. So yeah, just 0.9 in both. In what was it? Width and depth. Turn that scale off before someone notices how oddly out of whack they are. Export. Does anybody know how to move the pivot in Unreal? Because I keep doing it by accident, but when I actually need to do it, I can't do it. That's not it. It's not that. It's not that either. Yeah, contacts is always good. Not characters would be useful for me. Cool. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would agree with Major Muffin because this industry doesn't require you to have a diploma or a piece of paper. If you're good enough, you'll get a job. If you put the time in to get good enough, you'll get a job. That's what it comes down to. And I need to look out UE4 move pivot because Alt middle mouse, that's it, Alt middle mouse button. No, that is fuck all. Does not do anything. Middle mouse, drag it. Maybe that does it. No, that does the camera. Control, drag does nothing, shift, drag does nothing. Oh, I know you can. Use combo of Alt middle mouse button to move the pivot on either to stack it. To make the change button, right click on the shape and choose pivot set, pivot offset. Right. So, hold on, we'll do it in here. Just spin lid. Can I click on this? No, I just want to do it. So holding Alt doesn't do anything for me. Unless I have to do it in here. No, can't be it. So that's the right click here. Pain in the ass. Right. I've got two dumpsters. Hold on. Save all. Dumpster A, AA. it's not going to let me, but you know what, I don't care right now, because all I want to do is move this. And that will do for me. So now I can just move it back onto the wall and then move all this rubbish with it. And scale the rubbish, multiple values, balls. Ooh. Yeah, I think those are working a bit better now. Thank you, Action, for that, because that was really beginning to annoy me. Alt middle mouse button. And in fact, they match maybe more up with these things now. If not, I can always scale them down because they probably are a bit too big. Do they really school? Because they explain it. Yeah, so again, I agree with Major. It depends on where you go. So, for example, I went to university to do a BA in like 2D animation, and I came out and I learned web design as well, and I came out wanting to do 2D animation, but all the jobs were web design, and I hated web design, still hate web design. Met some really great people, but it didn't do very much for my career path. So after that I had a year of going, what the fuck should I do? And then I did an MA, so a master's at Bournemouth, and at the time it was like top 5 in the world or something like that, for visual effects. So I did a 3D course there, a master's in it, and I went from not knowing any 3D to knowing 3D in a year, and I basically fast-tracked. After that I didn't get a job straight away, and I ended up doing work experience, but then that was in my old job, and they offered me a position afterwards. They made all for me, and then I think within the year I was head of our department, so head of assets, and then I was there for like 4 years. So school is good, you meet some really amazing people, lots of different people doing great things. At the time for me, I needed to do 3D, so that was the one way I knew how I could do it. And Sasha's right in that it's good having someone there teaching it, but I feel like there's so much now on the internet that you don't necessarily need someone there to teach you it. Things like I said before, YouTube and Twitch. So here right now, you're already in the right place for, I'm teaching, well, I'm not teaching, but I'm explaining my workflow for doing environments, and you can see it firsthand, and you can ask me questions about what I'm doing, and I'll try and answer them best I can. But it's kind of like at school, you're only going to be as good, well, not really. The people they're teaching now have been teaching for 10 years and potentially don't really know what the current gen techniques are. And that's the gamble. Yes, it's good for, school is great for, it gives you time to focus on what you're doing. If I was doing that master's part-time and had to do a job at the same time, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I feel like in order to learn, you do need to have an amount of time that you can devote to it and just focus on it. And that's what school gives you time for. I think having someone explain to you in a classroom how to do it is fine, but you have to do it practically. You have to put the time in outside of that to nail it, and that's where your online resources come into play as well. Yeah, so that's kind of my, I suppose, 2 cents on it. And hello, Gan Dirac, yes I can. It's like this at the moment. So that's how it looks at the moment, Gan Dirac, but the lighting needs to be changed or updated, sorry. A lot of stuff needs to be changed or updated. What texture have they got on this one? So we can tone this down for a start. See how shiny that is? It's like a mirror. This needs a bit more strength than the normal. It's inverting it. Doesn't look like there's a lot going on in the normal map. Might just change, just see. If we go textures, and then I want to use the rusted normal. Let's see how that. Fuck all. What's the placeholder? Aha, right, getting somewhere. I think the Steel Dirty might be the best. Actually, what about this one? Oh, that's not bad actually. It's all right. And so you get a bit of something from it. Let's go with that. Yeah, the normal map is a bit weak on these. Still though, it's better than having them gleaming. Actually, these might need a separate UV map just so that they get a bit of punch on the normals. Oh, thanks, Gandirak. Yeah, it's got a long way to go, but it's on the way. Got like 1,000 messages. If I don't get personal explanation, I probably won't get it because people explain it different ways. Some more collapsed, some more simple, and people are also on different levels, so they use something that you don't know and explain the other thing. You might mess it up easily. Yes, true, but that's going to happen wherever you go. You could go to a school and the teacher be explaining it to you just in the wrong way for 3 years. Alright, found out the name of the college I was talking about. It's Belgium and it's called DAE, Digital Arts and Entertainment, and here's the website. Ooh, sexy. Course overview, let's have a quick look. Choose your path. Major game graphics production. Game development. So, what's on this one? Those are AAA games, starting from concept. Pre-production, visual language, 3D low poly, yep, programming from, ooh, that sounds good. Prototyping, yep. You might not need rigging, but I mean, it's always handy to know that kind of stuff. Digital sculpting, character design, decoration. Oh, and you get an internship as well. That's pretty good. They don't exist anymore. Gorilla. Ooh, yeah. N-Wave do them. We used to work with them. Yeah, sounds pretty good, I would say. So is this like, it doesn't specify. Ah, here it is. Character design, stylized design, animation for games. You cannot mix elective. In semester 3, you have 4 fixed and 1 elective. Right, so this, to me, sounds like, so what's that in 3 and 4? Right, so you have to choose one of these and ace it basically. So stylized it, my bet is they've only got character people, character teachers. I could be wrong, but if the electives, and you have to choose 2 of these, are character design, stylized design, and animation, so character and animation go together, this is very ambiguous, stylized design. Does that mean just, you know, stylized stuff, but is that like props, or is that character props, or is it environment props, or environment stuff? So I'd probably email them about that. But I mean, generally it's pretty sound. What does their students showcase look like? Pretty good. There's a lot. Oh, it's a mixed bag of character stuff and environment stuff and vehicles, yeah. Sea of messages probably. It's not a giant. It's all I'm told. How much is it? Oh shit, no, that's the wrong one. Tuition fee. So £1,000. Holy crap, £6,000. I suppose I went to uni when it was cheap to go to a university. Still though, that last page, if that's the lab, it's pretty good. And are these provided, or do you have to bring your own? When are you thinking of design-wise? It's a beautiful place to study, and that could be all you need. Just somewhere that you can study. I'm getting massively distracted. I need to focus. These are just piles of crap. Right, great. Bin bags. Bin bags. Whoa. That looks tiny. Yeah, let's scale these up. Let's go 135. Nice in the middle. Spot selected. B, so we need an A. I do hate it that there isn't like a free rotate in Unreal. That would be pretty cool. Oh, so now you don't want to duplicate for me, great. There you go. It's almost worth making the debris pile in what you call it, in Modo. See the flat bottom on that. Oh, it looks way better already. Scene. Yeah, definitely, Lassie. It's, I think just even having 5 of them in just makes it feel like a place. Ooh. Oh, Poison Leaf. Thank you for a host. Woo! I'm being hosted. Thank you. Appreciate it. I hope some of the information is useful. But yes, so for anybody, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. So for the people who are joining us from Poison Leaf stream, this is the ArtStation Environment Challenge that I'm doing. We're about midway through the challenge in terms of days, and I want to say I'm probably about, I want to say I'm only just halfway, but I'm probably more like 70%, because I've got a long way to go on texturing and lighting. But yeah, at the moment we're just discussing, or in the chat people are discussing schools, whether it's worth going to or not, for 3D stuff, that kind of thing. So if you're interested or have any views, then get involved. Likewise, if you want to know what I'm doing, like what software or how I've done certain things, then just feel free to ask away, because that's kind of the point of these streams, is that other people learn too. And I really, these debris piles, I suppose they're serving a purpose at the moment, but probably need just a bit more rubble and bits of shit on them. To be honest, I could bring in and do a 2-layer shader on them. Eben Rose, hello. Take my energy. Oh, I need. Oh, that'd be good if you could have a level up feature. I'm sure you could in chat. That would be pretty epic. So. But yes, I really appreciate the host. Oh shit. Tilde. Escape. Maybe we need to flatten one of these out. So, Poison Leaf / Eben Rose, are you 3D guys, girls? Are you learning? Are you hobbyists, etc.? Yeah, it's got lots of boxes spilling out onto the street. And what I also need is some sort of just crap. I just need crap everywhere, that's what I need. In fact, we can put some bin bags onto here now as well, which would be pretty cool. The way this scales is not great. It's because it's off axes in Modo, so we'll sort that out. I'm a WoW, World of War client-side modding developer as nice. The big ass revolver whip. Ah, looking good. Very nice, yeah. I can't remember what it. I think it was. Yeah, I think it looks good. One thing I would probably change is this wire. Doesn't look natural, the way it curves. I would also tone down the uniformness of your edgeware. Yeah, because it's all the same. So I'd turn that down and make the wire more curved and maybe give the texture of the wire, like, I think upgrade these in detail, the hilt and the wire, so they match the detail of the metal. Perhaps even there's too much going on the metal, maybe it would be more brush steel. But yeah, looks pretty cool. Oh, see us, Ash. It's actually part of the concept, and this is a better modelled version than Helio's car. Because I've seen it. But it's the same shape and size. And the modelling a new car is actually going to be a massive time sink, and I don't have time, so I won't be modelling a new car. So, does this version not... I think it's too long and thin, if I remember. Having said that, that looks alright. Surprisingly okay. How about this? That looks better. So actually, maybe I just need to use what I've got and make some better piles. And actually, while I'm here, let's arrange these so they're a bit better. So it's more on axis. There we go, there's one. This one. So these are going to send the things out, knock them out of whack a bit, but shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's more important that I can scale them properly. Right, so let's export them. And then let's open up the debris layout. Yeah, being a lighting artist would be pretty cool. I mean, I haven't really got that much experience in it until I started this environment, and actually painting with colour feels really nice, and having control over all the materials is great. I quite like set dressing personally. I've always kind of had a knack for it. So when you have all the parts and you arrange them into the scene, I really enjoy that kind of thing. Let's hide this building. Right, now do I do a new scatter? Let's try it. So I had a sheet, particle generator and particles, but something on here is huge. Watch now here. Now I'm guessing that's in the group. So we want to remove that. There we go. And then this, let's just mix this up. Let's duplicate it. Where are you? Let's grab both of them. Oh, please don't crash. That was close. Cool. And then these are independent, which is pretty good. Right, so how far are these away from each other? Who was talking about this the other day? Rusty, I think, about how I did it. I don't know if he's in here, but yes, Daedalus' videos are really good. You know, like really good. I'm watching the one on the Star Citizen art test at the moment, but a really good overview of it. Would be pretty cool. Maybe a pot and a tiny of blood tracks. Unfortunately, blood tracks isn't going to hack it in this one. I don't feel like there's been a murder in this scene, but if I can get away with, you know, simple shapes as debris that are up to the viewer's you know, imagination. So you can see these are bin bags. There's some, you know, maybe one or two boxes, but the rest is just general clutter. So if I can make something like that, then, and it's very nondescript, darker greys, browns, there is colour in there, so if I can get that in, that would be cool as well. In fact, that's not a bad idea. So I have got the image for, let's just grab this, hold on. So I've got an image, right, and it is this image here for the signs, but what I could do is I could duplicate this cardboard 2 and I could change it to the 2-layer shader, and then I could plug in this. Now it would be interesting to see what this looks like, but we could tint it to be a bit darker, and normal input we just need something, so maybe something like this. And then we can have the cardboard again. Yep. So it'll just mix and match in textures. If we save that and then go into, I could go into a box to try this out. What box is that? D. So go into box D. Now this all hangs on what the UVs are doing. So yeah, so it might be a bit too much to have a box that elaborate, but that could be a go using something we already have to add colour to things. But yeah, back to doing the actual piles. And yeah, action on, like you've been posting, you know about Gumroad and what you can get on there. Right. Well, that's not bad. 240, what does 360 do? Too much. 180. 270 is alright. Random scale looks okay, but might be better to knock these out of whack a bit. Random twist. Yeah, not bad at all. Cool. So potentially got ourselves a new debris pile. In fact, if we can look at this by having a look in here. So that looks alright actually. And then we can just duplicate this and freeze it. Ooh. Geometry is item. Replicators, freeze replicator. Turns everything into instanced objects, and then all we do is grab all of these, convert them to meshes, cut them, paste them, and there we go. Now we can edit them. It's always good, I find, to duplicate the replicator, so you've always got the original to go back to. So this is debris scatter B. Cool. So now let's just edit this so that we get. So basically, all I'm doing to edit them is to move them off each other, or instead of having them intersecting, have them so that they're not intersecting anymore. Dun 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 dun. Looking okay. Maybe sink this down a bit. Yeah, I should have put that. What do you call it? This the ring pull for the can. Attach the mesh. It would have been a lot easier. Scale up. really like that laying across everything. No, I saw on Martin's post that he used something called make human or make it human. So I might do something like that just to you know, make it have some visual interest in there. So what was it? Oh, I'll get it later. But if you go on Martin's post, it's the really awesome looking version of this. Then you'll see that there is a program that you can use to do that. I quite like this pile here, so this is in the wrong place almost. Ooh, hello, weird Polly. Oh, there isn't an edge. So, Major, this is a perfect example of the triangle thing we were talking about. So this is an n-gon, but because the sides are a bit skew with, it can't work out. So in Modo, it can't work out where the edge should be. So that's why you get this hole. And then as soon as you put triangles on it, it knows exactly where you want, or it kind of tries to determine where the program thinks you want the edges. But I don't want them like this, so that's why I have to spin them to get them looking the way I want. There's still a bit of a discrepancy, as you see around here. It goes a bit weird, but yeah, that's a really good example of it. And now I want to go and find that piece. Metal 1, metal 2, metal 3, metal 3. So that will hopefully negate any other bits later. Any other problems we have with the same area. Just need to go through now, check them all out. It's a rock. That should be it for them, but there will be some in here. Yeah. Work first time. And 2 more. Ta-da! Right, so that's working a lot better. That's it. Let's have a look. Makehuman.org. Brill. I sodding hate these cookie things now. Brill. Oh, it's powered by Python, Brill. Yeah, because if I can do that and pose them, can I pose them as well? Yes, it comes with some rigging stuff. Then that would be excellent. So I'll keep that tab open. It's probably quite easy to animate them in well, actually, I don't know how it works, whether you do an animation cycle and export that and then blend it. But I'm only having static people if I'm having them. User contributed assets. Well, this could really help. Clothes, Brill. Poses, Brill. Look at that expression. Excellent. Right, cool. I will get onto that. Right after I've done, well, not after I've done this, but in a little bit. Okay, so some stuff like this could probably, well, may as well keep it, just keep a very flat version of it. Push that down. Got a massive rock. Another can. That's the rock from earlier, that's another can. So we want to maybe clump it this way. Whoa. It's a bit like that. But I want more of these. Ooh. Sticking out the back. And then just a little bit of detail. Maybe that in. So that end's going to be a bit disappeared, but could move it up slightly. That's under there, but we can raise this. Oh. Forgot they didn't have one side. No, I don't like that. Can find even more stuff. Brill. Yes, I will have a look at that. Dun, 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 dun. Bigger bits. Maybe get another one of these. Actually, maybe a longer one. Cool. And then maybe ears. I think that's what I need to do. I need to have a scattering of rocks, just in general, that I can just throw on, and that will give me like the noise that I'm looking for. Don't know what I want to make. Since I myself can't decide on a vehicle I want to make soon, do you guys have any vehicle that comes to mind when you think of a vehicle that is not specifically combat oriented but still not unarmed but not boring regular car plane? So I would do, if it was me, so I'm just going to go to my Pinterest. So here we are, this is my Pinterest page. Got loads of different boards, and there is a vehicles one somewhere. Vehicles, land, sea and air. So if you go on vehicles land, you might find something that you're looking for. Like, I love this kind of stuff. Can't remember the guys, it's called like Flap Traps or something. Love that. Because also what's this, it's quite vague, so you have got a bit more creative control on like details. So something like that perhaps. Or dun, 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 dun. I really like this and I want to actually make it myself. Because it's got like that Mad Max feel to it, but everything's still quite shiny and new. Plus you can see all the little details of, you know, how it's actually put together, and that kind of thing. Could you link your Pinterest? Yes. So it's on my page, but there you are. I do pin stuff every day, or pretty much every day anyway. But then I quite like stuff like this. Like it's just some kind of, you know, adapted van thing with a track. Like I really like that. And quite simple as well. Because that's the other thing, you don't want to start something and then it be a major time sink. Or take longer than you think. Dun, 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 dun. These are always cool. Motorbikes where the pilot is in the inside it, but they're probably quite common. And I quite like this as well. I can't remember where I found it, but instead of wheels, it's got legs. But I could imagine that it's a bit of a pain in the ass to make. I'm a huge fan of mechs. In fact, that could be in. Already saved pin to mecha. Right, so we could just delete this. Yeah, so that would be my 2 cents. But yeah, follow along. There's loads of different stuff on there, and generally I do, for environments and things, I will do a reference board. Not sure I did one for this, just because Helio's been quite good at giving me what I need. Although he was a little coy at the start. I got a fully formed can. Do with some, maybe these out here. Yep. That is looking okay. Okay, so we've got a second debris pile. But before I continue, I want to do a rock, just general rocks. So actually let's first save this before it crashes. Check out this house. It's a very Howl's Moving Castle. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, there's, I don't know if you've got Pinterest, but if you don't, you should get it. It's so good. I've also got a tutorials board, which has got tons of stuff on it. Right, let's put these on, turn this off, and go to groups, remove this, and then I want just the rocks. Actually, I could get, come on, rocks, what do these look like again? Put these on. So rock, yeah, all the rocks are fine, cards, plate, corner to 1, 2, and 3. So I could have the cards, or if I make new cards, I just make them much thinner. Probably best if I just triangulate all of these. Okay, so we'll make a new group out of these. New group, bits, group. Cool. And then in here, I want to grab all of this, triangulate it, and in here, I want to do the same thing. Triangulate it. Cool. In fact, we may as well center this. Leave that where it is. We'll center this one. Okay, so let's save this. we set the normals on each of these, which is done already. Export, export. Oh, hey Rusty, how you doing? You've just missed some debris stuff, although I'm about to do some more now because I need some rocks. So we will, in fact I'll talk you through it now. What I need first though is a new window, and in here I need it to be the item list. Okay, so basically look at my fantastic organisation. So first of all, you need some meshes. So in this case, I'll be using, so they all need to be on individual meshes. So rock A, rock B, rock C, and card C, and card D. So they're all different. They've all got UVs. They've all got scaled UVs to the right scale, that kind of thing. And then what you need is, so you select all these, and this is in Modo. So there we go. In fact, when we're here, just center a few things. Cool. So you select all the ones you want, and you go to groups, and you go new group. So I've already done this, but it comes up, you say what you want to call it, and then it creates the group for you. So this group has got these 5 assets that we wanted in it. So from there, what we can do is so I've just put them in a separate folder just to keep it organized. So then you need a sheet, or a plane. So for me, it's just a one subdivision plane. So I've got 4 squares. That's just because I always like having subdivisions and stuff. I don't really like just using flat things. So we've got that. So then you need to just go add item, particles, point clouds, surface particle generator, right? And then when that comes in, all you do is, so you just check you're on the SPG tab, and you just plug in your source surface, which is the debris sheet 1. So we find, debris sheet 1. And then it might be a bit difficult to see, but that gives you all these particles on the surface. And then what you can do is you can change the average distance between them. When this happens, it means there aren't enough particles being generated, so the particle ceiling is too low. But if you increase it, there you go. So that's in fact you can definitely see that. So that's a 10mm spacing. Ridiculous. So we just want it on 100mm. But we'll see. But you can do all different things on it, you can put gradients on it, you can do all that kind of jazz. And then to make the actual replication work, you want to go to, what is it? Is it in particles? Yeah, replicator. And that gives you this purple box. Again, check you're in the replicator tab. And then you've got 2 inputs, so prototype and point source. So the prototype is that group. So for us it was bits A group. Nothing's happened yet because we need to select the source. So you go point source, and then we didn't rename it, so it's just surface particle generator. And then you go. So now we've got some replication happening. So if we look at the preview on this, it'll be mad. There you go. So everything's being generated within this distance to each other. And that's it. That's all that's happening at the moment. So let me just move this up so you can see it. So that's great, but we want something more than that. we want to have some variation within it. So I always put on a random twist of 360. In fact, before we do that, let's grab the generator, put this to a meter so we can see things better. So we've moved that to a meter, we can now see things a lot better. And you can change in the viewport, in visibility, no, it's in drawing and control, there's this replicators thing. And I think you can specify, I don't know, maybe it's in a previous version, you could specify whether you see the bounding boxes or the actual geometry. But now that they're separated out, we'll go back to the replicator, and so I do a random twist 360. I always put a little bit of, you know, something on the X and Y, so it doesn't have to be much, like 2 degrees. And then you can change the scales, so maybe a tiny bit of height, but then maybe you want to mix up the sizes of it. And then you can also change the seed to get something that you want. Which is pretty cool. And then you can, you know, drastically change these. Don't really drastically change anything, but there you go. So you get all kinds of things going out of whack. So the problem now is some things look like that thing just looks shit, and that thing up there. So I'd probably delete them. But if we put these back, something like this. So say we've got our replicator, we've got everything we want, but I need to get this into actual geometry. So all you do is make sure so normally I duplicate the replicator, so I've got a copy of it, so I can always go back. And then you go Item, Replicators, Freeze Replicator. And what that does is it puts all those meshes in a group and instances them all. So here you can see they're all instants. That's fine, but we can't really edit the shape. So what you do then is you select all the instances, and then in Meshes instance, there's this thing called Convert to Mesh. If you click that, it converts all of them to normal meshes, which are the blue ones. And then for you know, ease of use, I cut all of these and make a new layer. Press N and paste. And then I delete the group. And now we've got that exact replication, but we can make changes to them. And that is how I do debris scatters. So it's quite fast. The bulk of the work is done for you, but depending on how complicated your assets are, they might intersect. Well, they will intersect. So like here, for example. So I'd have to manually go in and move them out of the way. But it's quite good that it gives you something to go on straight away. So yeah, maybe I'll cut that little bit of the stream out and have it as a tutorial, just because I think that's a really handy tool. Right, so I want more debris. So what you can also do is you can add, so maybe I want more rocks. So let's grab these, duplicate them, Control D. So I want more rocks in what I'm doing. So I've just duplicated them, and you can leave them obviously as they are, but I quite like just making individual ones just because, or more individual ones just because you can use them later for different things. You've already made the variation. It's a shame that it's flat on the bottom. I'm just using the pen tool to mix up the shape a bit more. Cool. And then they're already added in. Excellent. Just watch out for that. When you make new stuff, for some reason it adds it automatically into the group, which is a bit of a pain later on when you come to doing the replicators, but it's normally blindingly obvious if it's a big thing. So I want to just delete them, don't need them. Sheet 1 I need. Yeah. Surface particle generator, replicator I already have, but I want to change these. Oh, God damn you, autosave. Bits group. Cool. 360. Maybe I could 360 these, but things are going to start going out of whack if we're not careful, like so. But that could be a good thing as well. I do want to increase this too much. 4, maybe something like that. Uh, 30. What do we make that? 50. I think maybe if we do 5% on each of those, what's it look like? Not very much has changed. Mixed bag again, 50. Even on 50 for the moment, but what I might do is scale them. Scale the originals, or at least put more that are scaled. So we'll do that first actually. So if we duplicate these, turn that off. Call these pebbles, pebble A. Yeah, that's pretty awesome stuff. I'm really liking what I've been seeing in Modo and that polystyrene. Yeah, I haven't done any of the polystyrene stuff, but I'd like to. Or is it Stein? Cheers for the run. Yeah, no problem. What I might do, yeah, when I release this tutorial, or sorry, not tutorial, video series, I'll do that as a standalone video, because that's just handy in the future. Can use levels for a mask and just stamp in the vents. Yep. Oh, hello, Helio, how you doing? It's Thursday night. It's Wednesday. Christ, no. If it was Wednesday, that'd be great. An extra day to do some shit. How are you, Helio? Have you had a good day? Cool. I think these have been automatically added to both, so we can take them out of here. Remove. I'll leave those in. But they are in here, that's what we want. So all the pebbles. That's not going to work. Just changing all of these. That's great. Pretty small. It's at 30. And then if we increase our density, sorry, decrease it a bit too much. Just a constant blur, packing stuff up actually in ArtStation. Oh, countryside holidays, yeah! I'm away next week as well, so actually there's no streams unless I can get it to work in France until I get back. So next week I'm not streaming at all. Yeah, but I also can't do any work really, which is a bit annoying. Okay, that's looking okay. Move these up, down. Cool. Dun, 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 dun. Trier. Probably not saying that correctly. So yeah, it's probably a bit too dense, but if we can go for something like that. And I think that's going to be too much. It's probably going to be the best. Okay, so that's okay. So I'm now going to freeze that. I'll duplicate and freeze it. Save it before I do. Do a new version. Oh, version 50, landmark. Item, replicators, freeze replicator. Chug, 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 chug. Oh, this might crash. Convert to mesh. No. Boom. And we're back in business. So we need the sheet still on. Cool. Right, so now let's get rid of the worst offenders. So for me, that's namely these big boys. Need scaling down. Something like that. Cool. And then I want to get different groups. Brilliant. So I quite like this one, so we'll do this one first. someone listening to? Because I'm a pioneer, one of those that were at the first edition. Oh, Brill! €600, yeah, they generally are about that much for these conferences. Just a little annoying, but you are paying for, you know, shit hot quality stuff. Whoa. Okay, so that's looking a bit better. And now we can come in, grab some pebbles, like so. And scatter them about. No one's to know that they're just copies. Whoa. Brill. So I want to now, I think some of those rocks are still a little on the high side, but we won't know until we've got it in. Rock, scatter A, and let's reset the normals, save. I mean, already, so I suppose that's 2 debris piles on there. It's like filled up quite quick. It's great. Right, export these. Oh, you're actually part of it. Amazing. School. Brill. Take a look at the side. There's actually a list of pioneers' names. Find me there because I wasn't part of the staff. Staff is not considered pioneer, but yeah, very nice. Well, I mean, it's all good experience and getting the you know, the right contacts. Did I save this? Yes. Right, in we come. Debris. Re-import. Cool. Let's fix some things. And then let's import the new ones. There's a bits. The group export. That's really interesting. Weird. Anyway. This is where I realised that I've actually deleted something really important. No, not at all. Right, debris scatter, and obviously the rocks are elsewhere. A bit cold on the old neck. Oh. I was in sort of limbo because I wasn't an attendee. I had, but spent most of my time mingling with people anyway. Yeah, I think that's generally, you know, what it's about really, because you're not forking out for anything, but equally you are, you know, you want to do a good job for people and you want people to remember you, so yeah, why not? Right, now I need some materials. Let's go with that on there. Metal 2, that's what I want for this. Nope. Actually, I'll put that on metal 1 because there isn't much. Well, actually, there is. Ugh. Solid, that looks alright. Actually, might replace that with that. And what did I use for the? Oh, it was concrete, bits of concrete. Brill. And then while this is open, we'll just grab the rock scatter. That's how I became the Prince of Bel-Air. What a claim to fame. What if these were this? That looks probably better. And what if we make these this? Yep, happy to roll with that. Likewise, what if we put this on here? Yeah, let's run with them. So a little bit different. Rock scatter. Now they're black because of the dirt. So we need to paint over these. Yes. Or for the moment, let's just paint over them. So we've got a selection. That's fine. Hopefully that'll help fill the place up a bit. Let's grab another one of these. Actually, I wonder if I put, so what's this, debris course, what if I put the asphalt material on that and then do a vertex? Basically I'm trying to get away with as much as possible. There we go. With what I have, as opposed to making new stuff. And I mean, this could look shit, but may as well give it a go. Cool. Doesn't look totally bad. Could do with, so on the asphalt, toning down the wetness of the mud. So asphalt, so it's these. Might be worth retopologizing this so that we get a nice smooth fall off. fact, what we can also do is export all these messages out of here and then retopologize the whole thing in Modo so that we get the gradients of the model. Mental chain. Right. Game over. I know which one you're on about. Zombies by the Cranberries. Kind of obvious. Getting weird bits like that. Actually, before we put that in, let's get the other mesh in. So I think the poles might be working against me in that one, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem to fix. And then let's use a box to cover that. So, is there a box knocking about? Sure there is. Like a closed one. Yep. Flip you upside down. Maybe get a bin bag over there. Not too bad. Oh yes. Finally, it's starting to look a bit more like a dump, or at least bits going on. Right, let's move this box down and up. Reposition it a little bit. And then get another bin bag. What's this? So let's get B. And I could do with another box. Sing to us, John. No, unfortunately not going to happen, but it's like zombie, zombie, zombie. In the End by Linkin Park, yeah, classic. Everyone's a critic. Brill, even though rocks don't look too bad. Obviously, if this was an actual environment, I would make them look better, but because you don't walk around this, you don't need to. Where are they poking through? Just another box in here. Brill.